From the News Channel 8 studios, let's talk live with your hosts, Natasha Barrett and Melanie Hastings.
With all the recent scandals involving, Alex Rodriguez, Anthony Weiner, Lance Armstrong, and lots of others, it's a wonder they think they can really get away with trying to cover up big issues. So why do people lie? Communication expert Stephen Gaffney is with us today. He's going to tell us why people lie and ways we can prevent people from lying to us. That's what we want to hear. Stephen, it really boggles the mind. Really smart people doing really dumb things.
I would say they're actually stupid. Yeah. Let's just get that out of the way.
Okay.
I mean, it's remarkable, and it's especially remarkable in today's workplace and today's world with the internet, social media, 24-hour news channels, and all the media outlets. Like, these people are really going to get away with it. And I think what's really shocking is somebody like Anthony Weiner. What in the world was he thinking?
And to do it repeatedly, and even after he left Congress. To
Absolutely.
Continue to do it.
And
then to jump into the mayor's race, and then people are scratching their heads saying, oh, how does he think that, that could be a viable option for him?
Do you think he has a small ego?
I don't.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And look what he subjected his wife to. What kind of man would do that? That's what I really think.
Yeah.
And I think what we need to do is start to reward strong characters. Listen, we're human beings. We're all going to make mistakes. Some people make more mistakes than others. But if you're going to make a mistake, be kind of man up, person up, and own up to it. And whatever you do, don't subject everybody else to the mess that you created. And I think what we need to do is start to reward people who tell the truth and really penalize people who do not tell the truth.
Good point. But lying goes on.
Absolutely.
I mean, and even in our society, we may have little white lies, maybe about, oh, you're looking great today. Maybe you don't look great today, but maybe just social norms, say something nice to the person, right?
Yes.
And that's a little lie, right? I mean, we all probably do it in some degree.
Yes, there was a study done years ago that reported 93% of people lie regularly. 93%. I actually think the other 7% of the study lied. Because the truth is, we all lie, but sometimes we say white lies. And they say, well, what was I going to say? I didn't want to hurt the person's feelings. Like, somebody will often challenge me and say, if I told my wife how she really looked in that dress, she would not talk to me. You know what my comeback is? How often do you say nice things to your wife? The reality is, people can hear the truth if they also hear things that are nice, and we balance it off. But if the only thing that ever comes out of our mouth is something that is not so nice, of course people are going to not like honesty, especially if that honesty is what I call brutal honesty.
Yeah, brutal honesty hurts.
Absolutely.
It's tough. It's like
Absolutely.
Tough love in a way, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the number one reason why people lie is because they get afraid. Afraid that it's going to hurt somebody's feelings, afraid that they're going to use that information against them, afraid of retaliation. Let's look at the A-Rod situation. What options does he have? If we think about it, if he accepts this suspension, in effect, he'll be 40 years of age and his career is basically over. And his career is tarnished. You could make an argument that's already happening now. But the point, if you look at it from his point of view, what are the options? The only option really is to fight it. He has nothing to lose by fighting it. Now, I'm not saying his behavior and his actions are what we should follow. But if you look at the situation, it really makes sense, because one of the most important things in lessons learned is we have to allow people to save face. And if we do, they're more likely to tell us the honest truth. I'm not saying A-Rod should get away with this. But what I'm saying is, I think the lessons learned for us is that if we want people to tell the truth, we have to create options, and we have to make them feel safe.
Well, what about somebody like Bill Clinton, who famously lied about Monica Lewinsky, right? All right, so time has passed since then.
Yes.
Now he's sort of looked on as maybe this elder statesman, redemption. I mean, do you think that we have a kind of a different rule for politicians?
I think we do. And I think it depends on the character. For example, if the economy was poor and he had lied about something related to his running of the White House, like let's talk about Nixon as an example, then I think there's no way in the world he would have gotten away with it. But I think what people did is they rationalized, well, the economy was good, and it was actually what he was doing on the side, and it's more of a personal nature. Plus, he also didn't drag out his wife in front of everything, as the best as that I remember. I mean, Hillary Clinton suffered from this greatly. But look at the situation. He didn't own up to it exactly, but I think what had him get away with it was the fact that the economy was going well. And again, it was not in the domain of him running the White House.
Okay. Well, Bill Clinton gets a pass in your book?
Well, not really,
not
but
really.
I understand why he would get a pass. I mean, I think the bigger question is to look at really the tough situations and what we're going to do about it, because here's the bottom line. My prediction is we're going to find out more people who lie, and it's going to get worse because of all these avenues where now we can discover it. So I just want to say to folks, if you're holding something inside and you're lying about something, it's much better for you to come out as soon as possible, because in the end, people find out the truth. We're finding this out now, and it's going to increase faster than ever before as time goes by.
Do you think we've gotten to the point where we feel like you can pretty much say anything or do anything and get away with it?
Well, I think that ultimately we're going to find out about it, right? So, people will say, like, I think the Anthony Weiner situation is more surprising. What in the world was he thinking that he would actually get away with that it wouldn't come out that second time? You can make an argument the first time he just messed up, but then he said, okay, I own up to it, but he kept that behavior. And then the remarkable thing is then he decides to run for mayor, and he thinks that that is not going to come out. Again, it's so obvious, and these things are going to come out. And what we need to do is really penalize people who just destroy our public confidence in them. And one of the situations is to recognize this with Anthony Weiner. And if we look at it, actually, I saw a poll this morning that reported that he's one of the most disliked politicians. And you know what I got to say to that? Good for the folks in New York. Exactly.
All right. Well, we didn't even get to Lance Armstrong or Governor Mark Sanford.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk more about that another time. But it's an interesting discussion anyway about lying. Thanks so much for coming in today to talk about it. Stephen Gaffney, communication expert. Come back and see us.